think people don't really recognize like how hard it is to be a professional gamer in the first place. I ran 2-3 miles every day. During my professional career, I did everything I could to like keep my endurance up. They've monitored our heart rate. I always felt like the FPS people were always in better shape. I would have played Quake 3 forever.
I want to get your take on the current state of esports.
I really would love 1v1 to be more a part of the esports scenes going forward. I like seeing esports blow up and continue to grow. So for me, my whole life is to be a part of esports for forever. I want it to be a part of my DNA for till the day I die.
Welcome back to Gamer Galaxy, a podcast powered by Xsola. Hey, I'm Cher, your host, and in today's episode, we are talking with the very first gaming superstar and, dare I say, influencer who pioneered the games world. His name is Johnathan Wendel, better known yet, maybe to you, as Fatal1ty. It was truly an honor to speak with him, and let me tell you, I kind of had an out-of-body experience because it was just really cool to see how a Hall of Fame gamer thinks, and the discipline it takes to become the best in the world is incredible. But first, I wanted to do a quick story time of why esports and the games industry is near and dear and very special to my heart. Half of my childhood I spent in South Korea, and there gaming is a huge part of the culture, and mainstream media covers it very well. And so wherever you go, you know a little something about the games world. I also had a dad who was an early adopter to all the tech and games things, and I like to say that he forced me and my brother to play games as we were a kid. But I honestly just think it was a dude who was just so excited about the new and upcoming world of tech that he just wanted to pass down his excitement to his kids. So definitely did that for both me and my brother. But in the last 10 years or so, I really haven't been able to game a lot because I was pursuing my journalism career, and I really didn't have the brain space or the time to be playing a lot of games. And so I am so excited to be back in the swing of things and getting to play all the new and greatest games that are out there right now. And honestly, the production quality and the value and all the things are just so much better than when I remember them. So I'm super excited to get into all of that. So here's what I've been up to in the last week or so. A little bit earlier in the week, I went over to my brother's place and I got to play a little bit of Super Smash Brothers. I hadn't played it in such a long time, so it was really fun to get back into it. But no, I was not very good at all. And yes, my brother roasted the crap out of me. We also played a little bit of Mario Party, like the mini games. Those are probably one of my favorite things to play in there. And it was kind of fun just to kind of let loose and have a little bit of stress relief and just get some really good quality time with my brother and laugh a lot and just felt like back in the old days. I also have been playing a lot of mobile games, which is really weird and rare for me because I had brushed off mobile gaming a long time ago because it was just slow and clunky, glitchy, and just took up too much memory space in my phone. When I went to Gamescom earlier this year in August, I was actually really surprised to find a lot of mobile gaming options, one of which was Genshin Impact, which actually I was very happily surprised and very fun and beautiful to play. It's an RPG game, and also got to play one of the new Dubai mobile games. That's coming up in another episode of like how the Dubai and international world games scene is flourishing and bringing a lot of storytelling through their games and their culture and things like that. Honestly, they were so fun that I came back home and I started playing them. And one, it's easy access, and two, they're just good quality games. I was so surprised, but very excited about that. The other thing I'm very excited about and I've been so obsessed with is not a specific game or anything, but these tech and cozy game girlies on Instagram and YouTube. I will link some of their profiles that I follow in the description down below, but I just love the vibes and the the coziness and the games. I learn about so many new games, and the vibes and the feels is so amazing. I just want to be best friends with all of these girls. And I started to decorate my space similar to them and getting a lot of inspiration. Anyhow, I cannot wait for you to listen in on my conversation with Fatal1ty. All right, before Twitch, before Fortnite World Cups, and before esports was $1 billion industry filling out stadiums worldwide, there was one name that made gaming legit. Johnathan Wendel, aka Fatal1ty, the first American esports superstar. Fatal1ty is a 12-time world champion in first-person shooter games and inducted into the Gamers Hall of Fame for lifetime achievement in 2007 and 2020 for his contributions in the esports arena. He wasn't just winning tournaments in Counter-Strike, Unreal Tournament, and Quake. He was cashing six-figure checks, signing brand deals, turning competitive gaming into a career before esports even trended. Today, the US esports market is worth nearly $500 million and on track to pass $1 billion by 2033. I want to welcome the pioneer of esports and the games industry, legendary Fatal1ty. Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
How you doing? Thank you for having me on the show today.
I think it's my honor to have you on our show Gamer Galaxy. Did I miss anything with the intro here?
I mean, I had a long career and played a lot. Yeah, I had a really good time, being a pioneer of esports. And, it's a lot of practice and competition. And I really enjoyed traveling around the world playing video games for a living.
And did I hear that you, quote unquote, killed over 6 million people?
Yeah, I mean, I've we call them frags.
Yeah.
So it's how many times you've killed an opponent in the game. And so, yeah, I mean, I have, I did some backtracking, and it's definitely well over 6 million frags. And so, yeah, I have a certain type of skill.
Yeah, first person shooter. I will say I do love my cozy games because I'm definitely into that, but I also love my first person shooter games. Like I did Call of Duty back in the day when Modern
Yeah.
Warfare was out for the first time, and then like Halo. But other than that, you are clearly the best of the best in the world. So very cool.
Yeah, it was just a lot of fun. Like, I mean, I remember as a kid playing, these games and so forth. And I was just fascinated by just kind of like the mindset of like, killing someone else because they're trying to kill you too. And it was just really a lot of fun. And, obviously I became a big fan of it. And I still do it today.
What are you doing today? Or like what kinds of games are you into right now?
So the games I've been playing today, I actually been playing a new game. It's like a playtest version of it, but it's called Arkheron, Arkheron, Arkheron.
Yeah.
And
I
so
was actually just looking at the trailer for that.
yeah, so I've been playing that a lot lately. It's like a 3 versus 3. Like you loot up, you get like kind of your set items, and then you basically 3-on-3 other teams. It's like a PvP PvE experience. But obviously you want to be last team standing. But yeah, it's a really fun game. I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of different like skills. A lot of the developers are actually like big Magic Gathering card players. So they came from like that world of like, well, if you can do that, I can do this. And if you can do that, I can do this. And so there's like a constant like meta of the game and like building your team out to have the right abilities to take on any fight.
That's so interesting. I want to get back to that because I want to get into all the new games and like the current state of gaming industry right
Yeah.
now. But I kind of wanted to go over your career because I'm sure there's a lot I've missed. And for those people maybe just joining the gaming community, remind gamers of who you are.
Yeah, so kind of like the quick Cliff Note version. Like I started, like any kid, I was a kid that played games, loved playing video games. I was also an athlete. I played a lot of sports, and I came from playing like baseball, football. I was team captain of my tennis team in high school, and so I came from like all these sports, and I noticed that my hand-eye coordination from playing sports translated to the video games, and so I was fascinated by like that and alone, and then also just the mindset of like outplaying your opponent, like trying to think one step ahead. So I started playing tournaments in like the 90s, and when I was in high school, and I started going to these tournaments, and I won every tournament in the Midwest for like 3 years. And so I didn't think anything of it. I'm just winning like internet free for a year. I'm winning like a cell phone, like, winning like all these like small prizes. And then one of my friends from Omaha, Nebraska, he told me, it's like, hey, you're really good. You should go to this tournament. It was a tournament in Texas. And so I was like, I don't have any money really, but I can try to save up some money and go to this tournament. And so he's like, you have to go. You will win money. And so I was like, okay. So I saved up $500, and I drove down to Texas. One of our playing mates, one of his friends, had an apartment. I just slept on the couch for like 2 weeks training for the tournament, and there was a lot more training before that point. But yeah, we trained, and it's called like boot camps. They would call it like boot camps. And we trained, and I ended up going to the tournament. I won $4,000 that weekend playing a video game. So I was like extremely excited because it took me like all summer to make $4,000 in general at my other job. So
I hear you.
yeah, so I was just like, I was like very excited. And I came home and I slapped that check on the table for my dad, because we had a handshake agreement. If I didn't win any money, I had to quit this. And so I had a lot of pressure to perform. And then, I showed the $4,000. And then 2 weeks later, a company called me up and they're like, hey, we want to fly you to Sweden to represent USA. I'm like, yes, I'm in. And then
Holy cow.
So I remember explaining to my dad, I was like, Dad, I'm going to Sweden in February. And he's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm moving out, or like, I'm already thinking like, but I kind of like, me and my dad, like, we have a good communication of joking around a little bit. But I go up to his room and I go, Dad, like, if February for any reason I'm not here, I'm in Sweden. And so I was like, I'm definitely going to the tournament. And then he came downstairs and realized that I'm really doing this. And I ended up playing against the top 12 players in the world. I won 18 games straight, losing 0. And then at that point, I was the #1 player in the world for a game called Quake 3 Arena. And that was the biggest game at that time. Like, I mean, in reality of like esports, like really like cash heavy, like esports scene, that was Quake 3. Quake 1 before that had like a Ferrari they gave away, and one of my friends won the Ferrari. And I'm always like, man, I wanted to win that Ferrari. But Dennis Thresh is his name. He's a good friend of mine, but he's also got a Lifetime Achievement Award and all that jazz. He's actually the one that created WASD on the keyboards. So like when you play video games, so he's the one that created like a text file and like said, hey, you should use a mouse and WASD to move around, and that became like the standard for all esports for their on after. And so anyways, I won this money, or I won this tournament in Sweden, and I walked up to a sponsor and just said, hey, like, you should sponsor me. And they were like, we already sponsored these other guys and so forth. And I'm like, well, aren't you the title sponsor of the tournament in 2 months? Wouldn't it be great if the guy who won on stage was wearing your shirt? And so I was selling.
You've got a business mind.
Yeah, so I was selling pretty early. I was 18, but yeah, so I ended up, he says, let me think about it. And I remember we flew back from Sweden to Chicago. We were actually in the customs, like changing flights. And he walked up to me at the carousel and says, yeah, we're going to sponsor you. And so I was like, sweet. And so at that time, it was like a $30,000 contract, all flights, all hotels paid, all that stuff. And basically allowed me to like really focus on like being the best in the world. And I ended up going to the tournament. I ended up winning the $100,000 tournament 2 months later. And then I went on to win a bunch more tournaments that year. And actually, I won the gold medal in South Korea at the World Cyber Games Challenge in 2000. So it was a pretty good year of competitive gaming. I think I won like a little over 110,000 plus sponsors and everything else. So it was a very good year.
What year was this?
It was year 2000.
Oh my gosh! Whoa.
Yeah.
So it's so crazy to me to hear like this, the very beginning, because I feel like you bridge the gap between the grassroots gaming culture and then to the corporate backed, like the industry as we know it today kind of situation. What was the like scene like back then versus now?
I would say, like I mean, the thing is, you still have the best players playing. In Quake 3, we actually, I mean, it was a full field of the best players from all around the world. I mean, it didn't matter if it came from Europe, Asia, Russia, like America, wherever. So for me, that was like the biggest moment because I remember Quake came out in like 1996. So people have been playing Quake for like 4 years already. So the amount of skill that was already built up in the scene was like kind of a lot. We always played on the same systems. So everyone had the same like CPU and monitor, and that was kind of it. Everyone would bring their own keyboard, everyone would bring their own mouse, everyone brings their own mouse pad, everyone brings their own headphones. And some tournaments now they supply the headphones too now. Just depends on what the requirements are. But yeah, it's just like I would say there's like referees more that like, you know, like making sure no one's cheating and so forth. I think that's even more apparent today. I think back in the old days, like the beginning, the pioneer days, whatever you want to call them, it was more about like there's a lot of respect for someone that was really talented, and so you'd have like that kind of feeling. But I don't know, it's just changed a little bit. I remember running around in my socks at this tournament, and I was just super excited to be there and competing. It was my very first pro tournament. Obviously, I wore shoes, but like sometimes I felt like I was at we're at a LAN party, so we're all kind of hanging out. It's like imagine going with your friend.
LAN party?
A LAN party is a local area network party. It's basically where you bring your computer, your full computer, your monitor, all your stuff, and you bring it to a BYOC. It's like bring your own computer. And so everyone brings computers, and we all set up in this hotel auditorium, and we all have tables stretched out and so forth, power cables, network cables, and it's really wild, but a lot of fun. I mean, you feel like you're going to like your friend's house and like you're just hooking up all the computers, and then you're playing games. But yeah, if you don't know what a LAN party is, that is. I'm actually working on doing a LAN party right now in Las Vegas. And so it's basically, I just want people to experience like what it was like back then, because people are all like, you know, playing in front of their computers at home and doing the whole thing here. But I think you're missing out on the human element of like, you know, hanging with the people and playing games. And LAN parties was that. It was a moment where you could like kind of put a face to your nickname. You also get to kind of get to know the person outside of just the game. And you get to have like these real life, like socializing experiences, I guess you want to call it, or whatever. But for me, I love LAN parties. I did it all the time, and I used to throw a bunch in Kansas City. We have like 120 people show up to a church. We do a lock-in, and we would just like have all the computers set up, and it was just a lot of fun. So I'm trying to bring that back right now with some more LAN parties. And in Dallas, they have one called QuakeCon. And it's usually like around 1,000 or 2,000 people bring their computers and play. One of the biggest ones in the world is called DreamHack. It was in Sweden, and I don't know, like 8,000 people brought their 5 or 8,000 people brought their computers, and wow. It's wild. If you've never seen it, look up what a LAN party is, because
I'm gonna now.
it's really fascinating, and it's like it's like going to a concert with your computer. I mean, it's like literally what it is.
And like, you know, these days I feel like people are so, you know, married to their screens that's part of the talk, right? We need that, the in-person kind of chatter too.
Yeah.
Also, I just wanted to circle back to the beginning of all this. I watched your what is it, MTV special about like
that was the first time we got mainstream TV.
First of all, computers back in the day were giant. They're not what it is now, and super fancy. They're boxes, and then you see literally like carrying all these things as you were kind of going to all of these tournament locations. I think that was so cool, because part of it was that you go there and you're known as the best first person shooter player in the world, and you'd like show up to like San Antonio or wherever it is and literally couch surf on these people's like apartments or homes. And then people from that neighborhood's best player would come and actually play with you there. That is wild to me. I mean, talk about like,
it was just so much fun. I mean, like that's kind of like the whole BYOC LAN party experience that you bring. The reason why we do this also is we bring our computers to the location and so forth is because we want to experience what it's going to be like at the tournament. So when you go to a tournament in person, there's no internet. There's no lag. So the network is like a closed network, and the latency is like zero, basically, almost zero. So this means like when I click my mouse button, it's going to happen instantly. And when the person's moving around the map, everything's gonna be like super tight and like powerful. Like in the sense, like I'll see more frames potentially. I'll see more react. I'll have more time to react, or everything's just more instant. So I don't want to go into like milliseconds and all this like really like techie stuff. Yeah, but basically when you can, we always have to think, if you can do it on LAN, then you're the best. Like you can be an internet super god, but like if you can do it on LAN, that means you're real.
So let's move into like now. Look, I've checked your Twitch, I've checked your YouTube. Little sparse, okay? I think people who are like trying to follow you, what have you been actually up to lately?
Well, I mean, I think like there's like a huge gap, like where during my playing days, obviously I started a brand. So this brand, Fatal1ty, is my brand I started, and I actually started on MTV True Life. I'm a gamer, and so I started making these like really big mouse pads. So I created the first large mouse pad, and I love making products for gamers. So for me, it's like I always want to try to find out how can I play better, and I do that by making better equipment or making things that are specifically designed for gamers. So during this time, I basically just started making mouse pads. I created my own website, had my own PayPal account and the whole thing. And I was making 5 or 10 grand a month just selling mouse pads. And so I would do interviews like this and promote my product and so forth. And I would do this around the world. I mean, it would get to the point of like, I would do a show where I'd have like, go to Gamescom where you've been to, or go to a CBIT or Computex or CES here in Las Vegas, and you'd have like these huge shows where I would have a stage, and basically it's like, hey, come play the #1 player in the world. And people would come up on stage, and I'd have like an MC that would interview the players, and you would like basically talk smack to them a little bit, and like you try to entertain the crowd. So we would have like our audience be like upwards like almost 1,000 people, like just like all around the stage. And so we would have like these shows, and people loved it because it was very entertaining and so forth. And then every once in a while I would interview like the opponent's friends, and they would be like, so how's your friend going to do against Fatal1ty? And they were like, dude, I can't wait to watch him die. Like, cause he talks so much crap, and so,
As gamers do.
but yeah, so we just like, it's a kind of a fun like thing. So this is how I started my brand and my company. And then I started like partnering with the companies like Creative Labs, Sound Blaster, A-Bit, ASRock. I made like sound cards, headphones, motherboards. And so all for helping the gamer play to their fullest potential. So, overclocking computers, very techy stuff. But
No, I love it.
yeah, so that's how we started the business, and then basically I did that for about almost 20 years. So been doing that for a long time. I moved to Vegas in like 2008. Even during the recession, gaming was still huge. Everyone, cause like if people are trying to save money, they actually play more games, I think, because like if you don't want to go outside and spend a few $100s to go out for dinner and a movie or whatever.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, it's just like so then like people play games or try to find other entertainment at home. So gaming was like kind of like recession proof. And so yeah, we kept selling headphones and motherboards, and I did that for a long time. So but yeah, so anyways, I just been doing that, and then I got into some other businesses as well. I mean, I got into like commercial real estate, like investing in properties and all that stuff, but that's like nothing to do with gaming.
I've been told that you are the pioneer of like the hardware for games. So like you said, the keyboards to the from the chairs, and then the sponsorships, like everything was so new when you were first going through all of this.
Yeah.
You are like the father of gaming, of like the hardware.
Yeah, it's like, so I went to these stores, like, we had a store called Micro Center. It's kind of like a Fry's.
Love Micro Center. Yeah.
So Micro Center. So, so I would go in there back in the early 2000s, and I was like, man, like, what motherboard do I buy? And so I was like, I don't know which one plays the video games the best. Like, I'd have to do so much research. So for me, I was like, why can't I just put a gaming brand on the product and then like design it with a manufacturer and make a product specifically for gamers? And so we do like a good, better, best. We had like a performance, professional, and championship series. And then basically that's kind of your price point. If you want to get in the game, you can buy performance. If you want to play like a pro, you can play the pro. If money is not an object to you, you can buy the champion series, and that have all the bells and whistles and all that jazz. But I was always about like removing a lot of the components on the motherboard, because as us gamers, we don't really care to have a printer port, or we don't care to have like certain, like this is like old school. This is like the beginning of it, right? And so I was just like, can we just rip off all this stuff off and just sell like the basic thing that plays video games? And then the company I worked with back then was called Abit, and we did an event on the Great Wall of China. We traveled to all the shows around the world and did the thing. Yeah, so that was the beginning. That was the first ever gaming motherboard that was created. So my claim to fame is I created the first large mouse pad. I created the first gaming motherboard, and then I created the first the first gaming headset. And so I had a lot of like first,
cool.
and so the thing is like when I'm playing the game, I learn and I see what I need. So the manufacturers don't know what a gamer needs. They just think like they can just make a thing about gaming on it and it's good. So I'll be like, well, actually I use it in competition and I rely on it to win. Yeah, so basically these companies would come to me and they usually offer me sponsorships, but I turned one down. They offered me $200,000 contract, and I said, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna do it myself. And then
Smart move.
A month later, they came back and they said, okay, we'll do it the way you want to do it. And then and so basically it allowed me to co-brand with them and make the product a Fatal1ty product. And then we were able to step into their sales channel, and then we had sales in almost every country in the world. I mean, it was crazy.
Whoa. Okay. Something you need to know about me. I love like the business side of things too. So I love hearing about this. So I grew up, my dad is a mechanical engineer, but he was on the forefront of like, he was one of the early adopters back in the day. So I would follow him all the time to Micro Center, and I built my first computer when I was, I think 8 or 9 or something like that.
Right.
And
That's
so,
awesome.
yeah, like the motherboard, it brings me back, but, I think it's so helpful for me now because I haven't gamed while I was like trying to follow my journalism career in a really long time. So I'm kind of just now getting back into the grind of things. And so it's really helpful to see, okay, gaming, like a separate section for gaming, keyboards or mouses and $1,000 chairs and things like that. Yeah, I think and you are the person that created that. That is wild to me.
Yeah, I mean, like there was just like, it was just more like I felt like it was common sense to a lot of points of some of the stuff I was making, and
Yeah.
and so it's kind of funny talking about chairs, but actually that was like my first $4,000 I made. Like the first thing I did was buy $1,000 chair, and because you're like sitting in front of a computer a lot, like any like office worker,
Right.
and so I was like, I want to have comfort when I'm at the computer, so. But yeah, I mean, I would say the biggest thing I could say for like people that do spend a lot of time in front of the computer and so forth is that, I ran 2-3 miles every day. And so during my professional career, I did everything I could to like keep my endurance up and keep my health up, because if you're sitting in front of a computer that much, it's really important to like, take a break and go for a run. I think that's like the best way to get the body, keep it healthy. But that was like when I traveled to everywhere in the world. I go to a tournament in France, I would like literally go to my hotel room, I'd get my shoes out and I'd go for a run for like, I had like my MP3 player back then, and I'd just run for 3 songs one direction. And then I was like, okay, well, I went in a straight line, I can pretty much find the hotel on the way back. And so I kept it pretty easy, but I ran a lot. And it was just my balance of like training as much as I was training, and then also like trying to be healthy.
That's a really good piece of advice for anybody now, because everybody's like on their screens now and probably been in front of a computer for hours at a time. You were right there from the beginning, taking care of your health.
Yeah, and the thing is, you could see it. Like when I go to these tournaments, I'd play against some of these guys for like a whole year, and then you watch how their body changes throughout the year. I mean, some people are very healthy and like they know it, but like some people like don't know it, and they're just like sitting in front of a computer all day, like playing the game, and like you need to balance it out. It's always kind of funny though, but like most time in first-person shooters, I always felt like the FPS people were always in better shape. I don't know what it was, but I think like they've monitored our heart rate before, like, how, like, when we're playing the
Oh,
game. And the thing is, like, we are so hyper focused that we're like sweating because, like, it's so stressful, like, to play the game sometimes. Like,
yeah.
and so it's kind of funny, like, we'd be at these tournaments, we have like a heartbeat rate on it, and be like, it doesn't spike up a ton or anything like that. I mean, it goes over 100 somewhere. But it's kind of funny, like, watch, like, oh man, their heart's really pumping because they're nervous or whatever it is. So
Oh my God.
it was really fascinating. But yeah, I mean, I think, my goal was I play 4 hours in the morning or in the afternoon, whatever, and then
I was
right
gonna
after
ask how much
that,
you
I,
game.
I
Okay.
go straight outside and start running,
Oh
and then
wow.
I come back and train more throughout the night. But this helped me a lot. It just helped me, like, on the last day of the tournament, like when I'm playing against in the finals, like, I felt like I always had a ton of energy at the finals, and I was super excited about playing it. And I think that's when my opponents kind of like got worn out a little bit because
Yeah.
of all the competition.
Do you get giddy right before a game?
Well, I would say I get excited, like,
Yeah.
for the opportunity to perform. And the thing is, like, all my practice has allowed me to be where I'm at currently. And so I look at my practice as like one of the hugest things to make sure that I am ready when time comes. And so when the match comes, I can execute on a millisecond. I can execute right when I need to and do what I need to do. Sometimes things don't go your way in every game. There's some randomness that does happen. It's very, I mean, in the games I played deathmatch 1v1, so there's a lot of skill. So the mistakes are very minimal. Where it's not like, like when playing 5-on-5, like, oh, 4 guys attacked me at once and I just got singled out, like, whatever it is. Like, there's some randomness to playing team games. But in 1v1 deathmatch, the skill was so high that, I mean, I would play 100 people on a show floor and not one person kill me. So, I mean, you have like different skill gaps of like how the game is made and so forth. And I always love a 1v1 deathmatch. I do have one world championship in team play. It was in 4v4, but I mostly all my tournament wins and are in 1v1 deathmatch.
I don't know what that feels like to not be killed. Let me just say.
The best part is, like, I like it, like, if I die or I lose, I know that it was me. That's what I love, is the final, like, information is like, what, I lost or I won. And so I'm very, like, I love that part about 1v1, just because it's really on you. And that's just my fandom of, like, playing 1v1.
When you were in the height of your career, how long were you in the chair for and gaming? And take me through a day that you would have.
Okay, so I'll give you a typical day. I would wake up at 11:55 a.m. So, and I'm training for about 30 days straight for a world championship. Okay. I'm already been training before that and playing before that and all that stuff. But 30 days out, I'm like hyper focused on being the best I can be in 30 days. And so I wake up 11:55. I usually have people that are in my training. Like in my old place, I had like 6 computers in the basement. So I had like people come over and stay at my place, and we would start playing at 12. So I'm playing one-on-one sparring with this guy for 2 hours, one-on-one with this guy for an hour, and one-on-one with this guy for another hour. So for 4 hours, I get my sessions in for my matches, like my practice games. Then I'd get up and go run 2 to 3 miles. I come back, maybe do some sit-ups and push-ups, and then I would have like lunch. And so after that, I'd have lunch and kind of like hang out. And then after that, I'm trying to find 2 more hours to play again. So I take some break. I like wait till like my body feels like, okay, I need to go play now. Like I kind of like let my body kind of like naturally go with the flow. But like there is some urgency where I do have to get 8 hours of gameplay in every day. And so I get 2 more hours in, and then I take another break potentially, and then kind of like, maybe dinner or hanging out with the guys and just chatting about the game, or setting some time aside to talk about like what's going on in the game. And then we play another 2 hours before 4 a.m. And at 4 a.m. I go to sleep, wake up 11:55 the next day, and I do it all over again. So that was like my regiment. I just like being more like nocturnal or late at night. Like, I don't know, my body just like loved it. And like, I don't know, just at 4 a.m. you get tired eventually. So, so anyway,
No, really? Your body needs sleep?
Yeah, but like I wake up at 11:55, so it's like, it's like I'm still getting my 8 hours of sleep essentially, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, that was like what I did. And then I would train really hard one time per the month. So I would double dip on the training. So it wouldn't be an 8 hour day. It would be like a 16 or 19 hour day or something crazy. So I
Wow.
wouldn't go to sleep for like 2 days. And why I did this, I would do it like once a month, but I would do it because I wanted to overtrain. I wanted to overdo it. And when I did this, I noticed that my hand-eye coordination reflexes were more permanent. So I don't have to wake up with like, oh, I'm on fire. Like if I play for like 16 or 20 hours straight, believe me, I will be dialed in to whatever I need to accomplish. So I would do that like once a month. And that would be overtrain. It would mess up everything. It would mess up my sleep. It would mess up everything. But for me, it was also like I liked playing tired, because sometimes in tournaments you might get tired or you don't know when you're going to play your match. Like it's not like, in football, the game's at 12. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone knows to be ready at 12,
Mm-hmm.
and you have one game. It's only going to last an hour and a half. So everyone could be pumped and amped up and like ready at their optimal peak performance at a specific time.
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing in tournaments and like esports, especially during those days, I might have to be peak like at 11 a.m. and then at 4 p.m. and then at 8 p.m. Or, and if you lose, God forbid, you would play at like 11, then 1, then 3, then 7, then 9, then maybe 10:30. Like it was like crazy.
Oh, wow.
And so if you go through the loser bracket, I mean, you'd be exhausted just like fighting for your life every time you play. And so that's how I did it. And I won. I mean, I won 12 world championships. I mean, I won many tournaments, but like that was how I prepared for a major or a world, like a big world championship match.
Were you ever in the loser rounds?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Not often, but I've been there. I actually, when I won the $1 million world tour, I was in the lower bracket. I made it all the way to the winner bracket final, and I lost against the number one painkiller player in the world. He was ranked number one. And so I was the number one ranked FPS player in the world, but like in this specific genre and game, he was number one at that game, and I was number two. And so we got to the winner bracket final in New York City, and he beat me. And then I had to go to the lower bracket. I only had to do one match in the lower bracket. This is what I'm saying. Like if you lose early, you'll be in the lower bracket forever. But like if I make it all the way to the winner bracket, I'm only playing against one guy to take, to either go to the finals again or take third. Right. And so I played against an Italian friend of mine, Sturmy, and I played him, and I ended up I beat him 2-0. And so then I go on to the finals to play the number one guy again. And then we're at the Nokia Theater with, we had over 90 countries tuned in to watch our match. This is before Twitch. So we had 90 countries tuned in to watch this $1 million world tour death match, Fatal1ty versus Vu. It was a perfect scenario because you had like the number one painkiller player in the world and the number one FPS gamer in the world. And so it was a really good like combination of like kind of like titans, if you're doing a promotion for a boxing match, this would be perfect, right? So anyways, we ended up playing it, and I won the first two games. So I won 2-0, and then that makes us now even, because now he's lost now in the tournament. So now we play one more best of three, and then I won 2-0 again, and I won the $1 million world tour. That was my 12th world championship.
Holy moly!
Yeah, it was surreal. I was like, there's so many like mini stories inside there that it take too long to tell them all. But
I know. I wish we had all the time in the world.
yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I loved the competition and training, and obviously that was a huge moment for me because I got featured on 60 Minutes. CBS did a whole feature on me, and so I got a lot of good press, PR, and that was kind of like my final stamp on my legacy was that tournament.
So I grew up half of my childhood in South Korea, and I grew up watching these esports things on TV. Like they would have like a channel or two dedicated to esports. But when living in the States, you don't really see that at all, I feel like, especially on mainstream. I kind of want to get your take on the current state of esports and how it's being covered and things like that.
Yeah, so I mean, esports is like I feel like it's a lot of times based on it's based on marketing dollars. So if there's a lot of marketing dollars available, esports flourishes. Like there's tons of tournaments, tons of events, tons of live streaming, like paid media, like all this stuff goes on like heavy. But when there's not a lot of marketing dollars, I feel like esports hurts a little bit. Um, and so that's always been like my kind of take over the last 20 plus years of being in the scene. And then right now the Esports World Cup in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia they had a $60 million purse prize last year, and they have 70 million this year. So they have like an insane amount of money, and so the esports players are living off of like this kind of moments. And the thing about playing esports, you really just go wherever the money is. If the money's in content creation, you go there. If the money's like over here, you go there. And like and that's why I played so many different games. Like I was world champion at 5 different games, but like I did it because like I had to go to where the money was. And I would have played Quake 3 forever. I would have never stopped playing Quake. I wish Quake was still around today and like had like the proudness that it had, because I would have never stopped playing.
Is there no word on anything Quake related, new releases or anything like that?
Not right now. I mean, Quake Champions was a game they made back in 2016. They had a Quake professional league for a while. The prize money wasn't all that great for the pros, so you sacrifice a lot of time and effort to be the best in the world for a little payout. When you look at games like League of Legends or Dota, giving away tens of millions, it kind of like puts everything in perspective. Like, okay, well, people don't really care about this anymore. I really would love 1v1 deathmatch to be more a part of the esports scenes going forward. Because I feel like it allows like the elite like deathmatch duelers to really shine. And I think we are missing that part of esports right now. And like in tennis, do you watch tennis? There's a reason why Sinner and Alcaraz are winning all the majors, is because they are extremely talented individuals and there's no one as good as they are. And so it's fun to watch the best play in that individual environment. And I also think I'm not sure if I am biased maybe a little bit, but also I think it's just like common sense. It is way easier to watch esports when it's one-on-one, because if that guy's winning or losing. When you watch a team game, I feel like there's like so many moving parts. And if you don't know the game, you don't really know what's going on. And so, I still play all the team games. I have fun doing it. It is fun to play it. Just like it's fun to play football and so forth. But like, the quarterback is really your individual guy that you want to watch. And then you want to watch some key receivers and hopefully they get the ball sometimes. Especially if you play fantasy football, you really want that guy to get some points.
Yeah. Are you in the tournaments or like the gaming, like esports space right now? Like
so
actually playing?
No, I'm not playing any tournaments. I did some like exhibition tournaments for like Valorant. I did some like, kind of like show matches, exhibitions and so forth. So I'm not playing professionally anymore. That would be like, the amount of work that would take is insane. So I think people don't really recognize like how hard it is to be a professional gamer in the first place, but then also the training that goes into it. It is all day, every day, every second. I used to have a rule: you couldn't take more than 2 days off, and that would be like, you'd have to play 7 days in a row to even deserve 2 days off, first of all. But like in general, like never take more than 2 days off. So if you want to go and do something with your friends or family, whatever, like 2 days is the max. Because on the third day, you start having deterioration of like your hand-eye coordination, your reflexes that you've been building up, and so I have a certain way I train, and I've done a lot of testing on myself to like know how to perform at my best at all times.
Obviously, when you were in your heyday of like best in the world, still like the prize money was a lot smaller than what it is now. 6 figures. Now it's like, I don't even know, so much money.
Yeah.
Do you feel any sort of like, oh gosh, I wish I was playing now?
Well, I think obviously, if there's opportunity to make a lot of money, you get kind of excited and so forth. And like, man, like it'd be really fun to compete and play for that kind of money.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I'm in a very unique position because, being a pioneer of the whole movement, I think it's really cool because I feel like my story is always going to last. The test of time, and it's kind of like why we're having this conversation right now, is because like being at the forefront of the whole movement, that was kind of like the hard work I had to do and the risk I took at a very young age. And then I was like, no, this is a professional sport. This is just like traditional playing NFL, NBA, tennis, whatever you want to play in the world, I have to train just as hard. I train with the best players in the world. I train a Pacific way. I go to boot camps. I work on my health, and then you go to tournaments and you try to win. So for me, like I wouldn't take away like actually what I've accomplished and what I started, and then for me, it's like actually like I like seeing more money go into esports and more like I like seeing esports blow up and continue to grow. So for me, my whole life is to be a part of esports for forever. I want it to be a part of my DNA for till the day I die, and I want to try and find ways to help grow esports constantly.
So yeah, Valorant seems to be like one of the top players. A little bit of the mobile gaming is actually up there too. It seems like. What are you seeing in terms of the best of the best games in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, like for the standards, I mean, you just like it's Counter Strike 2, it's Dota, it's League of Legends,
Yeah.
Rocket League is really big, um, obviously Valorant. Um,
Do you see
those are
anything? Do you see anything taking over Valorant?
well, Valorant is still pretty new. I mean, like it actually, like in some ways, it'd be considered old now because it's like 5 years old. But like,
Yeah.
because games used to like evaporate within 2 years back in the day. But I think, with the game publishers trying to focus on it, and Valorant comes from the Riot family, and you can see what they do with League of Legends. So they're going to do the same thing with Valorant. So I think their goal is to continue to push forward with that. If I had to make a wild guess, I don't think they would have done it if they weren't doing that. But as for games taking over other esports games and so forth, it literally takes like a miracle to like for that to happen. And the reason why I say miracle is like it takes a big risk by some game developer that wants to create a new game that might be entertaining enough that take over the world. So the perfect example would be in 2017, we had a game called PUBG, Player Unknown Battleground.
Mhm.
That game was freaking awesome. I played for 3 years straight. I loved it, and
Cracked on.
like so, I won a tournament for it down in Mexico City in a Nation versus Nation Cup tournament. I got #1 in North America for the solos leaderboard. Like this is online, not on LAN, so it doesn't really mean a whole lot, but it means something. And so, but yeah, so PUBG was like, okay, well now how do the game developers make it esports ready? And so, I thought PUBG was amazing. I thought PUBG was like that game that kind of broke out of its shell and did it. You saw the same thing with Fortnite. Fortnite came out of nowhere right after PUBG, and then all of a sudden there's a guy winning $3 million, and I was like, holy crap, that's insane. And so certain games like have that amazing moment, and then how good is the game for an esports title, and how does it play out? So you have to go through all those emotions when a new game comes out. Right now, for a future game, I mean, I've always liked Battlefield, and like I know we were talking about new games coming out. Battlefield 6 is coming out very soon,
Yes,
like
it is.
October 10th. I've already been playing the beta and so forth. It's been a lot of fun to play it. The game looks sharp, looks great. But Battlefield 6 Battlefield's never been a game of like high payout, high professionalism, because there's a lot of people on the team. So imagine you have the field and you have to pay 12 guys in your roster. When in esports, when you get a bigger team, you start like, okay, well that's 5 more flights or 12 more flights, and that's 12 more hotel rooms, and what you start doing all the math. It's like, wow, like this is another reason why 1v1 deathmatch is really great. And so I'll always fall back on that. So, but yeah. So, anyways, Battlefield 6 coming out. I'm excited to play it. It's gonna be a great game. If they have some tournament for it, probably be them like getting like a bunch of content creators, influencers involved, and doing some like show match. And that's kind of like where I come in. Sometimes I get invited to those. Not enough. I would like to get invited more. And so, but yeah. So for me, like those are. Battlefield 6 is a great game. And then there's also another game that I want to talk about was Painkiller game.
Yes, because that's the one you won the world championship on.
Yeah. So Painkiller is actually is a game I won my 12th world championship at, and that was a 1v1 deathmatch. But the original Painkiller game was actually a single player game. It was very gory, very like I don't know, like medieval, like dark, like bats with wing, like of course bats have wings, but like
Right. Yeah.
gargoyles and all that stuff. So anyways, a new Painkiller game is coming out, and it's coming out very soon. I'm actually working with them. They're working on having me do some live streams and stuff for them and promote the game. So I'm pretty excited for that. But yeah, Painkillers. It's if you ever played Doom,
Yeah.
So
Actually, I've watched other people play Doom, but yes.
yeah, Doom's like a very gory game, and like it's and I it's like it's pretty wild. Like I mean, I like Doom a lot. It's where I come from. It's part of my DNA of like the id Software, who made Quake, also made Doom and also made Wolfenstein 3D. Wolfenstein 3D I played in like 1993 when I was like a kid.
Wow.
And so I remember this company forever. But the people that built Doom now have went over to Painkiller and are making Painkiller. So a lot of the DNA from like the old id Software Quake days is actually working on the new Painkiller game. So I'm very excited to see how Painkiller comes out and so forth. And from what I saw in the trailers and the videos, it looks pretty awesome. I'm sure they're going to have a bunch of amazing guns and different like guns than you would see than normally. Yeah. And that was what was always so kind of cool with Painkiller. It was like the guns were like so futuristic and different. And they're like, man, like I don't think I've ever shot this gun before.
Yeah, the design that goes into all this is insane. I want to like see all the behind the scenes of that.
I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
What games were the games that you watched when you were coming? You're from South Korea, right? You said.
Yeah.
And so, what games were you watching? Were you watching StarCraft back then, or what were you?
A lot of StarCraft. I think Warcraft was a thing back then too.
Oh, Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all I remember. I just remember really getting into StarCraft, and then because I would go to the PC bongs there.
Yeah, I went to one last year. I was just like wanted to go and hang out there, and it was pretty cool. Like I mean, we have them here in Las Vegas too. Like one of my friends has a company called Valhalla, and he does like esports training programs. And so the kids come in and like get training from a pro and like learn how to play games and so forth. And but yeah, they're everywhere. But yeah, I mean, like it's just so nice when you can go to a facility and they already have all the systems there. It makes it nice and easy. But I want to do LAN parties. I want to do LAN parties again.
Yeah, I'll go. There are a few here in Chicago. Do you think competitive gaming kind of maybe is losing its momentum to like full-time streaming? I mean, there's like iShowSpeed doing his 24-hour like Twitch feed and like that kind of thing. What's your take on all that?
Well, I think I mean, the viewers kind of speak for themselves. Like what they want to watch, what they want to see is that. I think I've watched iShowSpeed just to see what he's doing because it's like, oh man, this guy's doing a lot, and so it's fun to watch him out there like in the world doing it. I mean, that's a full-on team and full-on commitment, so it's a big investment to do all that work. But once you get to his level, like obviously it makes sense to do it as much as possible. But yeah, I think even like. Content creation is like taking over the game a lot. I mean, you don't need to be the best gamer in the world anymore. You just have to be like entertaining. You can be like horrible and still be entertaining, and then like you'll get all the money. So there's definitely like there's kind of like a give and take. I think with the Esports World Cup, given how much money they're giving away, there's still plenty of room to be a professional gamer. Plenty of room, meaning like you still need to be like one of the top 300 players in the world, and probably in Pacific gaming you'd be like top 10 or better. So like it's very competitive. I imagine it's extremely hard to get onto an esports org and get noticed and get seen. I think that's probably like the biggest hurdle in today's landscape. So yeah, it's just like there's a process to go through a challengers phase and like have a team, but it's like you have to get noticed for your skill sets and so forth. But I don't know, it's really hard. I think it's really hard for a professional gamer to make it all the way. There's not like a minors league, it's like a minor, like what are you doing, like it's just like anything else. Like I mean, I play beer league hockey. I'm never gonna go pro hockey, but I still love playing hockey. And so I played last night, and I'm going to play again tomorrow. And so for me, like that's like what I do to stay in shape instead of running. Like, okay, I'm just going to go skate.
I saw on your Instagram page, not to be a stalker or anything, but due diligence with the research, you do a lot of hockey and then golfing as well,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Golf. I've last year I got in the top 1% in the world.
Wait,
So
what?
yeah, so I was really excited. Yeah, I got my handicap to a plus +0.9,
Oh
and
my
so
gosh.
I actually won the club championship last year at my club. So I was like really excited about that, and so
Fatality is competitive.
yeah, I mean anything that involves competition. If you want a seatbelt race when you get in the car, who gets in first? I mean, I'm in, sold. Like
Oh man.
tic tac toe, like anything you
Woo,
want to do, like I'm in. So
that's
I
intense.
love competing, love playing sports, and my competitive drive is still there. Just it's more about like focusing on what I'm gonna put my energy to. I
Yeah.
put it towards golf and like like getting to a +1 handicap is like that was a lot of work and so forth. But it's so funny. Like I got better at golf when I stopped caring about the golf. And so like I still played a lot, but I was like, I don't, I just don't care. I'm just gonna hit the ball. And like obviously a
Mental.
+1 handicap is it's good.
Yeah. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Battlefield 6 is not an esports like a tournament game. It's kind of hard for it to be, correct? Um,
It's
mhm.
just because there's a lot of players on the battlefield. So in a typical game, it'd be like 32 on 32, or I'm not sure what they're planning on this one. If they're planning on like 100-person server or not. Um,
Yeah.
but typically, this like the game mode is you have like 16 players on one side and 16 on the other side. It just depends on how big the server is.
Mhm.
A lot of the games I was playing, I think, were mostly 16 on 16. When you get 32 on 32, it's complete mayhem. I mean, it is mayhem, but it's fun though. It's like it's just too many people,
Yeah.
and I think it's a lot of fun to play. And I wish it could be an esports title, but if they made a 5-on-5 Battlefield, it wouldn't really be Battlefield anymore.
Mm,
So it would be like Call of Duty or
right.
Counter Strike. It'd be something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, Battlefield 6 looks sick. So when you're shooting rockets in that game, or shooting like driving your tank around, or all these things, you can blow up almost anything on the map. I mean, there's a building there, and then soon there's no building. Like, I mean, it was wild. I mean, the amount of like things that are breaking and falling apart, and like huge holes in the explosions in the ground where you can hide into a divot and all this stuff. Like, it is really a remarkable game. And actually the gameplay of like actually shooting in the game is actually very good, like way better than like the 2042 that came out before that. So if people come from like old Battlefields that they didn't like, this one you'll like. This one's better. This is the one to get.
I also heard Arc Raider is on your horizon too.
Yep. Yeah, so Arc Raiders is it's an extraction game. So you'll basically, it's like it's like I haven't played it yet, but I just only seen like the videos, and like I'm excited to play it because I haven't played it. But I believe that what I see is that it's a PvP PvE experience, and then you go around, you loot up items, and then you get those items, and you can basically find an extraction point, and
Yeah.
then you can escape with those items.
Gotcha.
And then like every time you come in the game, usually you're risking whatever you have on you. So this is like, if you ever played Escape from Tarkov or Dark and Darker, those games are extraction games. There's also one called the Hunt Showdown that was kind of popular. But yeah, Arc Raiders, I mean, if you look at the game, it looks very polished. The graphics look amazing. And that's actually what I'm doing my LAN party. I'm doing the LAN party for Arc Raiders. So
Cool.
basically the goal is to have like an overnight game session. And basically we're gonna get however
Sleepover.
people that want to fly in, or local here in Las Vegas, and we're gonna throw like a little like private LAN party where we kind of hang out for old time's sake, and my goal is to bring like new younger people into like the LAN party experience, and show that like gaming is also about socializing and interacting with people, and I think also when people bring their own computer, they're more committed. They're like, man, I brought my computer all the way here, guess I gotta stay and play more games and hang out with these folks. so so but like it's LAN parties are the best. I mean, it is so much fun. I can't say enough good things about it. I mean, and I actually thought, for me, like when I play online, I would say I learn at 1x or maybe 2x, like on my like talking to people on chat or whatever about the game. But
Mhm.
when I go in person and we talk in person and we sit down and have like pizza together or whatever, just kind of like hanging out,
Yeah.
it goes like 10x. I learn so much more when I go to a LAN party. When I go to LAN party, I'm able to, I'll have a better feeling of like what's going on in the game, but also I'm talking to the other gamers and like you're also playing on LAN, so there's like less internet lag, and so all that stuff was
Oh,
like, I mean, that was like the whole
yeah.
point of doing the LAN party. Now we don't really have LAN so much anymore. The only time people have a LAN experience is when they go to a professional tournament,
Yeah.
because some of those tools have been taken away from us. Because it used to be we could just set up a dedicated server on one of our extra machines, and then we all connect to that server locally at the local area network, and so we'd have like 0 to 1 millisecond ping, and so the amount of information you can learn in that amount of time going to a LAN party outweighs everything you can do online. It's by far the better way to do it, the better way to learn. You get to hang out with like-minded people. You get to talk about it and not have to go through the internet. It's like, yes, we have voice communication. We can talk like this, but there's still a little bit of a disconnect. Like, I see you here. I'm kind of getting to know you, but I haven't hung out with you like off the camera.
Yeah.
And so like, there's a deeper connection when you go to these like physical LAN parties or physical meetups.
Yeah. First of all, you're really selling LAN parties. Second of all, that's the kind of experience I had at Gamescom. When I went to Gamescom, it was like I was part of a bigger movement and bigger, like a community. It felt so genuine and it was so easy to make friends that way too. So
I mean, when you find like-minded people, I mean, it really helps a lot. I mean, there's only so many gamers out there that, they actually get to know. I mean, I've been living in Vegas for like 17 years now, and I really haven't found like, oh, this is my person I play video games with. I have a couple people I play Call of Duty like zombies with and so forth. Like, okay, whatever. It's like, I'm more into like the esports side. Like I really want to compete and battle and get smarter and faster and go for it. So then like, I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to stream PUBG for 3 years, right? So I literally would pick my team based on voices. So if people had a really good voice, they're on the team. If they're good teammates, obviously like you let them on the team or whatever deals. But like if they were like really good and were not nice and didn't have like a good voice, I was like, dude, like go away. Like they had to be like entertaining to some degree. So one of my best teammates, I had this one girl on my team named Skittles. She's she's Battlefield. That's like her game. So she had like this really sweet like girl voice. And then I had my other friend named Sarge, who is this southern car salesman from Alabama. So he's like our smoke guy. He just gets smoke grenades and throws them everywhere. So like, and then whenever any of us died, we always blamed him. And so my stream became like this, like kind of like always blame Sarge for everything. And so. So it's kind of like Kenny or whoever, and like the whoever that TV show is, like where he always dies. Was it South Park?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so like Sarge is like kind of like our guy that takes the fall for everything. Yeah. And like he's been dead for like 20 minutes, and we die. Like Sarge, it's all your fault. 20 minutes ago, you did this to us. So. So that's like for me, that's like what I do for like content creation. I try to find like really cool people to play with and like have certain voices, and then like and just try to have like a lot of fun playing the game. But usually it involves me like telling them like, dude, why'd you do that? What, like, like I'm always yelling at them because like I'm used to playing with like a certain team that knows everything. And so I'm playing with a bunch of like good average players. It's like it's fun to pick on for me, like, and I hopefully the viewers also think it's funny too.
That's the best like streams to watch, is the funny ones, or like it's about the interactions between people.
Yeah,
I love that.
But yeah, I love Sergeant Skittles both. They're amazing.
I would love to talk to them eventually.
Oh yeah, I can definitely get them on.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. What are you hearing from the dev world in terms of like, I know that, people have like lost their jobs and things like that too, and there's a lot happening, right? Yeah. Anything you wanted to comment on in terms of the dev world?
I mean, like I just, I'm watching my friends make this Arkheron game, right? And they come from like a pedigree from Blizzard and so forth. One of them was like the creative director on World of Warcraft and all that stuff. So they have a lot of like history and they've done the things. And I'm just going through the motions right now with them with their game Arkheron, and just watching them go through it, like watching them deal with the community and watching them take feedback in Discord, and they're really trying to do it right. And so I've been having a lot of fun just supporting them as much as I can. I think it's just like, I think they've been working on this game for like 3 or 5 years. I don't even know. It's been a long time. So I think now the game's finally coming out and so forth. And, I'm still waiting to see how everything shakes down or whatever deals. I've just been trying to support as much as I can from like my side. I mean, like I don't get paid or anything doing this. So it's like, I'm just like, well, I'll try to support as much as I can, but like, it's not like my full time, like I don't make money from this, but I still love playing their game. I love helping my friends out and so forth. But in some capacity, this is my job. So like, I have to also like, kind of be a little bit picky. But Arkheron looks like a great game. 3v3, PvP, PvE. And I think the game's gonna be great. But as difficulties, I mean, it's kind of hard to think. Like I don't really have like any like firsthand. Like I'm watching 2 people like make Arkheron and then Painkiller, and both games. One's like a brand new title, never been done before, and one was like from 20 years ago. Right. So I imagine like they're all like kind of like restarting, and these people come from like really big companies and like started these other like smaller projects on the side or whatever deal is. They still work for big, like, Painkiller game comes from like a Saber Interactive or whatever. I mean, they're a big company, but they've done a lot, I should say.
When are those coming out, by the way? Do you know?
So Arkheron, well, the playtest is out right now. I don't know the official game launch for it, but you can, if you came in my Discord channel, discord.gg/fatality, you can come in there and I can help you get keys for the Arkheron playtest. If you want to hop in the game, I can work on that. And then Painkiller game, I think, is also coming out, I think, in October.
Soon.
Yeah, right. October, November, they're all coming out soon. Like you got, there's just almost too many games actually. So it's actually overwhelming to some degree, if you want to be honest. Like Battlefield 6 comes out like October 10th.
Yep.
Then you have Arc Raiders coming out October 30th. And then you have this Painkiller game, and then you also have Arkheron. Like for me, like I am overwhelmed with options. And so
is it a good thing or a bad thing?
It's actually kind of a like I would say it's a bad thing for me personally, because I want to give my energy to a certain game. But like, so I'll play Battlefield 6, for example, from October 10th. I'll start playing it, and I'll play it for 20 days straight. I'll give it 2.5 weeks. I'll create tons of content, play it a bunch, play with people on the live stream, do the whole thing. But then it's like, do you want to go to the next level? Do you want this to be like a 1-year stream of Battlefield streams? Well, Arc Raiders is coming out October 30th. I really want to try Arc Raiders out. So then I'll play Arc Raiders for, for 2 or 3 weeks as well. And then I'll have to make a decision. Which game do I want to go down deeper with? And that will become like a big thing. Painkiller games, a single player game, so I can just play the campaign and do that when that time is, take 5 days or wherever the time is to beat the game. And then Arkheron is also a PvP, PvE game. So in reality, I love PvP games. That's what I do. And so like, I just, for me, like these 3 games, Battlefield, Arc Raiders, and Arkheron are like going to be like the 3 games that are really going to take up a lot of my time. And deciding on like which game to play like long term, it might come down to what the community wants. If the community wants me to play this game and I get more viewers or more attraction to play this type of game, maybe I play that game. So I kind of like, that's kind of like how I have to look at it, in the sense, like if you're trying to do content creation or whatever, I mean, I'm not saying I have like gazillion followers and all that stuff. Like, people know me for, my history, but like, I kind of like, if gamers really like this one, then I'll play that one. Then, it kind of depends. Like it depends. Like I wish I had a more direct, straight answer for you, but like,
it doesn't.
It's like if someone said, "Hey, we're going to pay you $100,000 to play a game for a whole year," then okay, then I'll play the game for a whole year. It's like that's kind of the deal. But if I'm going to play what I love, I will usually go to where my friends are playing, and where my friends are. That's where I'll go.
Let's do a little speed round to kind of end things off. Is that cool?
Yeah, sure.
What is your 4 all-time favorite games?
So I would start with the first love was Mortal Kombat. So
Yep.
that's where I got Fatality from. I've had this name since I was like 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And then basically after that, Quake 1. Quake 1 was absolutely amazing. Quake 3 obviously is like where I got my professional start and kind of like did the whole thing. And then really, to tell you the truth, the last game I became a world champion at Painkiller, that game was so much fun. There was so much skill in playing the game, and I missed that in esports. I missed like the 1v1 deathmatch thing. So those are my top 4 favorite games of all time.
The last game you played and what platform did you play on?
The last game I played and what platform? Well, I've been playing Battlefield 6 open beta on the PC. So and
You're an OG PC person. I'm also a PC person.
I'm all PC. Like the mouse and keyboard, sign me up. Like this is all day.
Yeah.
And like I'm nuts about tech. Like, they have these new OLED monitors are 0.3 milliseconds. They have these new mice that have an 8,000 hertz polling rate. I got my big mouse pad here. I just I'm all about trying to find like every little detail and perfection of like picking out the perfect system to have low system latency and low input lag.
I'm trying to up my tech situation too, and I will need your recommendations, please. Thank you very much.
Definitely
On a budget.
I can help with that.
Amazing. What's something most gamers hate but you secretly love?
At first glance, I think people hate playing 1v1 games.
Yeah.
I think they hate it, and I love it. Absolutely love it. Because I like I said, like I love to know if I won or if I lost. It's very final. I can't blame it on a teammate. I can't blame it on whatever. Like, if I win, I won. If I lost, I lost. And so I love that final thing. A lot of gamers hate that feeling of losing and knowing that it was them. And so, but for me, I love it. I love it because like I'm like crazy. Like I will like if I lost a match and I say I wore a certain pair of shoes that day that were different than normal, I would throw the shoes away. Like they would go in the trash. So I was absolutely nuts about I was like I don't wear shoes with laces. I always cross my legs at the ankles. I like a chair in tournaments to not swivel. I have like a million different like I wouldn't say they're superstitions, but I would say they give me that 1% edge. And I think in esports, you're always looking for that 1% edge and where can I get it at? The first time I saw it was in the mouse pad. Mouse pad needs to be bigger. I need to have a lower sensitivity so I don't pick up the mouse as much. And then obviously you're trying to get more frames in the game. You want to overclock the computer. You want it to run faster. You want it to be ran cooler. If you're in Canada or Alaska, you're doing great. Okay, like computers can run really good up there. Okay, but yeah, I mean that's kind of like the gist of it. I'm always like trying to find the edge, and I love playing the 1v1.
Yeah. I'm actually right on with you about the swivel chairs. I need one that just stays put. So with you on that. Favorite thing to do outside of gaming?
Favorite things outside of gaming, I love to play ice hockey, love to play golf, love to play tennis, love to play sports, anything competitive. If you call me up and say, hey, we're going to play in this volleyball sand tournament, I'm like, I'm in. Like, I mean, I like you ask me to do almost anything competitive, I will say yes. If I don't know it, I will go and do it. And then I will learn as much as I can and I'll come back better.
Have you done pickleball?
Oh yeah. I've done it.
I just got into pickleball.
Yeah. Pickleball is a great game to play to get into the sport, I feel like. And it's like you can get a good workout playing pickleball. And it's fun to play and so forth. I'm not a big fan of the sound. That's just me. I think they have some balls that are changing some of the sound dampness to the ball. But like for me, the sound is like I can't. I played tennis my whole life, so like the idea of hearing that click clack.
Yeah, it's a common complaint for sure. Thank you so much. I will bow down, Senor Fatality. Thank you so much.
My biggest thing I always say to everyone is you got to practice. You got to practice.
Yes.
Practice.
Presented by Xsola, all the things powering the business of games. To learn more, go to xsola.pro/gamer-galaxy.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.